Hello everyone, welcome to another Rick's Picks. Today I'm going to be doing my review of the G.I. Joe classified figure, Gnawgahyde. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at him in packaging, then I'm going to take a look at him and his accessories, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on him. Just remember, if you do like this video, go ahead and check out my G.I. Joe playlist and hit that like, share, and subscribe. They're all small clicks for you, but it really helps this channel grow. So without any further ado, let's get to the review. So here he is in packaging. I do like the packaging for him. I like that they have this nice open window here so you can see him, his accessories, his animals. It tells you here that he's a member of Cobra, he's a Dreadnok, his name and his animals' names. You got the Cobra logo here, the G.I. Joe classified logo, Hasbro in the corner, your choking hazards and age restrictions. All right, bring it around this way, you get some nice art. I do like this artwork here. His name and number. Spinning around here, you get this really nice picture of the figure with all his accessories and what have you. You also get a couple shots here of some extreme details, you know, some of the more intricate details, which I like that. You got his number up here. You got your legal underneath. Spinning around this way. Sorry about that. You got his stats, the Cobra logo, his number, and then you got your QR code. Look at the top, you got the Cobra logo and his number, and then underneath you got your legal and SKU. So with all that being said, let's open him up and see what he's about. So here he is out of packaging. He's an overall really good looking figure. I like a lot of the detail to him. So there's a lot to look at with this figure. So let's start off with the rotation. So you got this side here. You got the back, this side, and now we're back to the front. So like I said, there's a lot of detail in this figure. So let's take a really good look at him. First off, let's start with the head. I do like the head sculpt. You can see that there's some tattoos right along here of a snake. You look at the top of his head, you can see some scratch marks. Next up, you got this leopard printed vest that looks really nice. There's some really nice detail into that. And you have the tattoo on this arm. You got the tattoo on this one. This is the Anarchy logo. You have this armband here. You have these studded chains around this arm. The same with like some, animal tooth looking, arm guard here. Get some really nice detail in the boots. So there's a lot going on with this guy that looks really cool. They obviously put some work into him with the amount of detail that they added to him. So with that being said, let's now look at his points of articulation. So first off, the head does move. All right. Got a shoulder joint with a swivel. You got an elbow joint, and you have a wrist joint. And get those arms up. You have a joint right here underneath the rib cage. One at the belt line. Spin them to the side. You have a thigh joint with a swivel up there. All right. You got a double knee joint. You have a swivel at the top of the boot. And then last but not least, you have an ankle joint. All right, so at this point as a figure, I think he's a pretty good looking figure. They definitely put a lot of work into the detail of this figure. So now let's start off with his accessories. First off, he comes with a warthog. Okay. Now his warthog, let's put him aside for a minute. Well, it does have a couple points of articulation. So the head does move. Alright, so you got a head swivel here. It's a double joint actually, because you got one right here at the base of the head and then one here at the neck. So they kind of move in unison. So, alright, next off you have a couple of joints in his front legs. So you have a shoulder joint, an elbow joint, and you have, I guess, what would be the equivalent of a wrist joint. Now he does have a joint right here in the center. So there's a swivel there. And then his rear leg has a joint back here. This joint. And then now you have an ankle joint. And last but not least, the tail does move as well. So it definitely put some work into him. So let's look at some of his details. So you have this really cool spiked nose ring. I really like that. He has a broken tusk on this side, and if you can see, there's like a screw in it, which is kind of neat. So there's a little bit of extra detail on there. He has an earring. The eyes are pretty well detailed on this one. All right. And the body design is really nice. So they put some work into his, you know, buddy here. Let's see if we can actually get him to stand on his own. So now that we looked at him, next is the monkey. Now the monkey, I don't think they put as much work into this monkey as they did with him, because for starters, there's no points of articulation except for the tail, and that don't really move. So he's just basically a sculpted, molded, you know, monkey, which is pretty cool. All right. So now that we looked at his animals, let's look at what actually comes with him. So he has his iconic, you know, brush hat. All right. In fact, we're going to move him over here. He has a sniper rifle. All right. He has a case for his sniper rifle. All right. He also has a machete that can also hook onto his wrist as well. All right. He has a quiver. All right. Now, 3 of these arrows are actually part of the quiver unit, but he does have another arrow that isn't, which we're going to look at right now. So you have this. All right. You also have compound bow for him. And last but not least, he comes with 2 daggers. So one, actually these are more knives, probably like hunting knives. And 2. So now we got a lot to go over with this figure. So first off, let's start with his hat. Get him to have his iconic look. Hat fits on well. Don't have any issues. Next, we'll do the daggers, or the knives on. I'm sorry. So we'll put this one in this hand. And then put one in this hand. There it goes. So both knives fit good in his hands. There are no issues with those. Okay, get that out of there. Alright, so one can come in this boot holster here. I don't think it matters which ones. They both should just fit. And then one goes in this back holster. Right here on his back. See how well that fits in there. Boom. So as you see, that fits in there pretty good, no issues. And you have this one here that fits in here with no issues as well. Now on to his other weapons. So let's start with the machete. All right, first off, we're going to try to have him hold it first. And that shouldn't be an issue because most of these classified figures, their fingers do move pretty easily. So it should be able to get it into a hand. Oops. Let's move this thumb out of the way a little bit. Oops. Alright, I really got to open up this hand. Okay, so these thumbs keep on trying to get in the way. They do open up. I'm not having any issues opening up the hand. There it goes. Alright. So as you see, you can hold the machete pretty well. I don't have any issues with him holding it. Alright. Let's get him back on the stand here. So now let's try this wrist gimmick here. So this is supposed to hook onto his wrist. Alright. So now you got like this, I don't know, Wolverine-ish kind of thing. I mean, it kind of looks cool. Really impractical if you think about it. You know, if you just have like a knife strapped to your forearm, it's not going to work really well. But, you know, it still looks cool. So if you want to display him with a machete on his wrist, you could do that. But I think I would have rather if it just been a handheld weapon. Be a little bit more practical, make a little bit more sense. But let's move on to the next. So now we're going to do the bow and arrow. Alright. So let's get him situated for that. So first off, you have your compound bow. Alright. See how well this fits in a hand. I guess it goes this way. Okay. No, it would have to go this way because this. So let's try to get this into this hand. So I'm going to open up his fingers a little bit more because he definitely need to open them up for this. Alright, now this bow is made out of very soft, very, very soft material. Alright, so I really got to open up this hand to get that bow in there. Alright. Alright, so trying to get this to cooperate. Oops. Okay, that's meant to come off, hopefully. Alright, so what the problem is his fingers are moving in. And same with the thumb. So his thumb and fingers keep on moving in every time I try to put this on him. Alright, so I'm trying to really work this thing around the fingers. Like I said, they do move. You can move them out of the way. It's just a matter of getting this thing in there. And around this thumb. Okay. So I got it in the hand. Now just getting it around the thumb is what's kind of the problem here. The thumb wants to bend in. Well, anyway, matter of fact, let me use this just to pry this thumb out, just a hair. There goes the hat. Okay. So now, through all that, it is on. Alright, so you can have them hold it. It's kind of small, but it is there. And the arrow, you could just put it in between this finger here. Alright, and kind of have them hold it. So the arrow will fit in between, you know, the fingers. You can maneuver that around to make it look like it's holding. You could probably even put it on top of here and try to make it look like he's getting ready to shoot it. It seems a little awkward to me, the whole bow thing. I mean, it does work for all intentional purposes. It's just, you know, kind of a bear to set things up. It's a little bit hard to get that hand in there, but once it's, oops, let me get this out of the way. But once it's in there, it's in there. So next up, we'll put the quiver on there. Quiver fits fine, no issues. Alright. Arrow goes in there, no issues. And now for this. Alright, so it's a good question on how this hooks on here. Guess you could hook it on like that. This piece here. So you can hook the bow on there. I don't know what these two extra ports are for. Okay. It's obviously not for the dagger. You could, and I don't think it's for the rifle. So the bow does work on him. It does fit. Let's get into the rifle now. So now this is a sniper rifle. Alright. Let's scope back on here. So the rifle went into his hand very easily. I didn't have any issues with the rifle. The finger went around everything the way it should. Now, let's see if we could get a two-hand hold on this. Move those fingers out into the open. Alright, so you can get a two-hand hold on there. The scope keeps on falling off of this. Alright, so the rifle fits very well in his hands. No issues with that. Alright, so now, of course, you got the case for the rifle. Alright, so this is the case for the rifle. Opens up. Rifle and all its pieces fit in there. So if it's anything like, what's his name, Lowlights, all of this should fit in here pretty easily. Alright. Because that's what his sniper rifle and case is based off of. It's just a remake of the Lowlight figures, case and rifle. So, boom. It all fits in there very well, very nice and neat. Alright, closes up without any issues. Alright, let's see if he can hold this. I guess we'll just put it in this hand. Alright, so he can hold it with no issues. Okay. And that too can fit right here nicely on his back. Just like that, without any issues. Okay. Might even be able to get this on there too, if you really wanted to. So you can actually have him hold everything on his back if you really want him to. And you can just play around with different things with him. So it looks like for the most part, everything kind of sits in pretty neatly with him. You also got the monkey. He's designed to sit on his shoulder. Alright, so the tail's supposed to wrap around like that. And so, sure. How this monkey goes. Maybe it's meant to go onto this shoulder. No, it looks like it belongs on this shoulder. Alright. So the monkey sits on his shoulder very nicely. So if you want to display him with the monkey on the shoulder, you can do that as well. So that's all his accessories. So my final thoughts is, I think he's a really good figure. I like him overall. Back to the bow. I messed around with the bow a little bit more, and this is how it properly goes on. So what happens is it clips in here, and then this little nub holds the bow in place. And then right here, the piece that went on here, I think it's supposed to be a stabilizer for the bow, just fits in this little spot here. So this is how the bow's actually meant to go on. So overall, he's a decent figure. The figure himself looks really good. I like a lot of the attention to detail to him. All his joints move very easily. Didn't have any issues with any of them. I like his warthog here. You know, I like all the detail that they put onto him with the points of articulation and what have you. The monkey, is a little bit of a give and take. It's a cool little piece to have hanging on his shoulder, but other than that, you know, I don't see much use for the monkey. The sniper rifle worked really well in his hands, didn't have any issues with that. It fits nicely in the case. The same with the machete. The machete fits well on his wrist and on his hand. The bow fits well in its case. I don't have any issues with that. It's a little bit of a pain to get in his hand, but once you get it in there, you know, it seems to work all right. So overall, once again, I would recommend this figure to go with your G.I. Joe classified, lineup. So with that being said, I hope you guys did like this review. If you did, go ahead and check out my G.I. Joe playlist and hit that like, share, and subscribe. They're all small clicks for you, but it really helps this channel grow. So until the next one, late.